NEB TV, what's trending in science. Welcome to NEB TV. Today, I'm joined by senior scientist Andy Gardner. Hey, Andy.
Hi, Dina. How are you?
Good.
Good.
And we are talking about careers in science. In our Science in 60 segment, Andy's going to tell us about the Molecular Biology Summer Workshop, which is hosted by NEB and Smith College. Then we will talk to some of NEB scientists and Human Resource Department to provide you with some tips for your career search. And lastly, we're interviewing an NEB employee who has a science background but has chosen an alternative career in the field. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Great.
Over the past 30 years, New England Biolabs has sponsored a 2-week summer workshop to learn molecular biology. We have trained over 3,000 students from all over the world and backgrounds, including artists, bankers, corporate executives, medical doctors, salespeople, computer scientists, teachers, and writers. Even though most students who come to the workshop don't have scientific backgrounds, they share a common belief that molecular biology is important for many fields and in everyday life. One of the core values of the scientific workshop and at New England Biolabs is that we learn by doing. Let's face it, learning PCR by reading a textbook is almost impossible. I didn't understand and appreciate PCR until I did it in the lab. Therefore, the summer workshop is very hands-on. In fact, almost immediately after arriving, students are handed a pipette to begin experiments. Unfortunately, at the start of the workshop, most students don't know which end is up. However, over the next 2 weeks, students learn about DNA, RNA, and proteins, and learn core molecular biology techniques. Students rapidly progress from not knowing which end of the pipette is up to being able to complete a next-generation sequencing RNA-seq experiment to analyze gene expression. In the workshop, there are always a moment when the students are able to integrate all the material into their own lives and careers. It is the moment when a computer scientist understands the biological questions posed by collaborators. It's the moment when a sales manager can now empathize with customers struggling in the lab. When a lawyer understands the functions of enzymes and legal contracts and licenses that she writes. It's the moment when a physician adds molecular perspectives to her clinical studies. And when a teacher realizes that he now has the tools to pass molecular biology on to the next generation. I hope that Molecular Biology Summer Workshop educates and inspires students to use molecular biology to generate the next breakthroughs that will impact us all. Sorry.
I know that a lot of people use LinkedIn to post their jobs, and so it gives you kind of direct contact to the hiring scientist, and I think it's a good way to see what's out there, see who you may know who can help you. I think people are usually willing to help others find a job, so I think LinkedIn is a great resource.
I used LinkedIn to look at the connections I had from my alma mater.
If you're in school, your career center and those sorts of resources can definitely help.
In my case, that was a particularly strong resource, and I know of other people at other institutions who've made good use of their career services. It started with a phone interview, which was mostly just it was one-on-one between me and the hiring manager, and just her getting a sense for me, for my background, and a few sort of typical behavioral interview questions.
My job interview started with an hour-long research talk where I presented my undergraduate or graduate research.
And if you're looking for a postdoc position or a scientist position, you give a presentation, usually in front of like 20, maybe 15 to 20 people. After that, I think I interviewed with around 6 scientists.
And then a meeting with the hiring manager, and then individual meetings with everyone in the team. I think looking through sort of some of the various online resources of typical behavioral interview questions, you can get a sense of the kinds of questions you're going to get.
Can you name a time when you were innovative, or can you name a situation where something didn't go wrong, or something went wrong and you had to figure out a way to remedy that situation? Or can you think of a time when you had to work with a difficult colleague? How did you handle that situation?
What do you intend to do 5 years from now, or what do you hope to get out of this job?
Talk about a time that you've made a mistake. And that's tricky because you don't want to, everyone makes mistakes. And what you really need to think of very quickly in a situation like that is what the follow-up question to name a time that you've made a mistake is, because it's easy to say when you've made a mistake. What's more difficult is saying, how did you learn from that mistake? How did you correct that mistake?
Because I was looking for a job that was outside of the lab, I pursued a role as a sales representative. And in the interview process, it was very much about being able to speak the language of science and how I could adapt that to a conversation to be consultative to my customers.
Any researchers who are looking for a job should first and foremost make sure to network, to contact anyone they can think of that could help them get a job. Just going to conferences and talking to people goes a long way.
Before your interview, ideally even before a phone interview, to learn as much as you can about the company.
Look at the actual company's websites or the university's page to find out more information about the environment, the culture, and more specifics about how that company participates in the scientific industry.
When putting together a resume, I think it's very important to tailor a resume to a specific job. Make sure you highlight the skills you have that are most relevant to the job first, and make sure you write a very personal cover letter that is very clear that you didn't just copy and paste it.
I think it's important that you express your acumen in science, but also make sure the resume is specific for the role. For me, being in sales, you have to be very metric driven. So you had to be able to show your achievement through the numbers, but also show your achievement through selling maybe a more complex application in the scientific realm, because the company's looking for someone with that level of expertise.
I'm not even here at NEB, but anywhere. I think it's also important that you interview where you're going. You want to ask questions. Is this the right place for you? Are you going to fit in well? Is this really what you want? I know a lot of times graduate students just want to get out of school and they really want to get a job, but I think it's really important that you're also happy with where you end up.
So interested candidates can find all of our job openings online under our career section at neb.com. We also post a large majority of our postings at massbio.org and many association websites. If you're interested in applying for one of our job openings, please go online, complete an online application, and submit a cover letter and a resume.
Hi, I'm Tasha Jose. I'm a graphic artist here at NEB. As a biomedical illustrator, I take complex scientific material and translate it into easy-to-understand graphics, animations, and videos that will be used in our instructional materials and on our website. I'm often asked how people get into medical illustration. Well, I was lucky. I always had a passion for both art and science, and so I was lucky to follow a career that allowed me to combine the two. Although I spend most of my day here working on the computer, I do also get to meet with scientists, and we discuss their scientific research and come up with the best ways to communicate that material. If you're interested in learning more about medical illustration, or perhaps even pursuing a career in it, I suggest you start with the Association of Medical Illustrators website at ami.org.
So Andy, you failed at the 60-second segment today.
I'm sorry, it was close.
It's okay. What you said was really great. Thanks so much for watching today, and if you have any suggestions for future episodes, please let us know.